cool in here. For me, it's actually cold in here. So I guess we'll enjoy it. While we're here, let's stand for the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, so it's involved an opportunity to look at last month's minutes for motion. Second. Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. I have a recognition of Richard Proctor's 15 years of service. Sarah, would you introduce the fellow?
Certainly. This is Richard. He's been in our office, like it says, for 15 years. He is our aging services assistant. And if you call in the office and are looking for services, you get our receptionist, and then probably you're going to go to Richard. He assists with HEAP. He assists with applications. He goes out. He's one of two that goes out to the community office hours all over the county, as well as attends our outreach events. So he is an integral part. Coming up, HEAP is coming up soon, and he's one of our major players in processing HEAP applications that come in and offering that assistance to our elderly to access. So he's, like I stated, a very integral part of the Office of the Aging.
I had an opportunity to go with Richard and Elizabeth Weimer out on the Christmas distribution gift box at Quickle Industries. And it was a wonderful thing, the number of things that Richard's been involved in. So thank you, Richard, for your service. And committee members, we're going to chambers. We're going to take a picture of Richard and certificate. Open. Open for you.
It's trying.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. It's. Yeah. So bad. Yeah. Right. I totally know. Yeah.
Must be, I don't know. I'm strange finding something.
Yeah, I think we're all back in here. Just Bill, Ron, and together all I know. I said last time. All right, we'll go to HS1, resolution awarding professional services contract, RFP 26 DSS 003 service of process related to child support services.
I'll move it.
Second. Okay, Lee?
Okay, so this is a company that we have used for a while now. They did come in with the lowest bid, significantly lower than the other bidders. And they've provided us consistent services in handling our legal process for serving papers to people. So
It's a one-year contract.
it is a 1-year contract, but it has the ability to be extended for 4 years.
4 years. Any questions on that? None? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. HS2, resolution accepting donation, Office for the Aging Senior Picnic. Sarah?
Yes, each year we have our senior picnic and we do try to get some donations to cover most of the costs so that to offer it at no cost to the seniors. We reached out to Dot Foods and they provided us with a $500 monetary donation, which we are going to use for coffee, donuts, water. The meal itself is a congregate meal, so it's covered under our federal and state funding. But for all the miscellaneous items, for the event.
I'll move it.
Second.
Okay, any, questions or discussion about it? I think it's a great thing. Too bad it wasn't $1,000 or whatever. Rich, do you have a question?
Yeah, and so just say, keep in mind, they're coming out of the county. So that they're reaching over to us, which I think is
Yeah.
admirable for that.
Yes, it is. Excellent, excellent. That food does a lot of great things. Excellent, excellent, great morning. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. HS3, resolution, appointing members to the Veteran Service Advisory Committee. With Rick or Eric, would you have anything to say about that?
Just that where you're trying to get the individuals that are already on the list, we've reached out. They want to continue to be on the committee, but we have to get them appointed before we can actually start holding the meetings and stuff.
Sure.
I've had a couple meetings with legislator Yearden, and we've kind of come up with a game plan on the purpose of the committee and all that's going to be discussed on the first meeting.
Okay, anybody have any questions?
I have a question. Discharge requirements, everybody has to be honorably discharged to be on the committee, correct?
I believe so. It is.
Okay. Thank you. And that's going to be verified, right? Before they're appointed.
Sure.
Thanks.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions?
No abstain.
Ryan's on that committee. Next is the request to appoint member to the Office of the Aging Advisory Council. Once again, Sarah.
Yes, this is a replacement. Kathy Hogan, Catherine Hogan, who is a supervisor, was a supervisor at Staff Kings. She retired. I think she's working a little part-time right now as there's a transition. But when she submitted her resignation to the advisory council, we asked her if she had anyone that she would suggest as a replacement, and she suggested Kim Chetney, which is not any relation to Brian. She has worked with Staff Kings prior to that. She worked at Centerwell Home Health. This, because we do have a contract with Staff Kings, it is an ex officio, so they don't really have voting rights, but they do come in, she does come in and give us the perspective from a home health agency to be able to share with the advisory council when we're making decisions.
And she also serves on committee and advisory board on the health committee.
Yes, the professional advisory council, yes.
Very well-rounded individual. Any questions, discussion about that? Or
I'll move it.
One second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Very good. Thank you. So, let's see. I'd like to go first. Brian.
You'll win. All right. All right, so I'll give you some handouts here.
The monthly booklet.
No, it's not too bad.
It's all good.
So, today really kicks off our summer with, our camps opening up. Camp Zerby has 37 kids at it today for this week. Camp Hollis, has 79 kids at it this week. Zerby will have a total of 251 for the summer. Hollis will have 608. Those numbers may go up on the Hollis side, from additional, kids who will sign up to go through. Zerby, that's pretty much a max out, that if you do your math, 251 is higher than what they are really set to do, but, not every kid always shows up at Zerby every day, so from time to time we'll overbook that one. We're still within all our ratios to do so, but we'll do that to make sure we're taking full advantage of what we can offer for the kids who are there. We did have 61 kids at our Camp House Fun Day on Friday. That was a kickoff of the summer. So that was also a day you can use to have your staff kind of get some training in before they get the full load of kids that started, came last night. So they spent their first night there last night, overnight camp, and then Zerby started today. Legends has been put off 1 week for staffing reasons. That will start next week at this time. We did the same thing last year with that program. It is a free program, so not to take away from how it works, but we're not losing money by putting it off, but for safety reasons. I had a staff member, summer staff member who took a better job, as he told me last night. So that really impacted our, finding staffing, qualifying them and getting them all up to par. You're hopeful that you don't have something like this happen. It's not like you have a long list of young adults you can just turn away and go about it. So we're in the process of that. We're confident through going through different pieces of it that next week at this time we should be good to go. But that program is on hold for. You'll see on what I sent to you, you'll have a little bit on there. My budget information is all on there. The state budget that came about, you can look through. For the most part, we did well in the budget, so I have no complaints from there. With that being said, you'll see a picture of Field 5. That was the expansion that we recently did at Legends Field, so that they can be varsity ready to go. Homer and Mexico had the first high school game on that field. It was a sectional game. As you can see on there, for those of you who are baseball people, the expansion brought the lines down to 305 feet, center field to be 355. So that's pretty consistent with a major league stadium. So we're pretty good with that moving forward. Our Challenger softball program will be starting July 7th. As you can see, it talks a little bit about Legends Day Camp. Our girls softball program, that will be concluding this week. That program has been operating since May. We have a Bridge League program that I'm sure the commissioner is happy to hear about, so that when you get done with Little League, before you go to fall ball, we can offer you another league you can join, so that'd be more evenings you can spend watching baseball. Our summer trail crew, they're started working. They're on Camp Hollis. Every once in a while, I will move them to a place like Legends if needed, if need be. Crazy stuff that happens that you don't have to worry about. I do on a Monday morning when there's a tournament and everything's packed up nicely after the tournament, and a dumpster lid blows open, and all the wildlife that lives near Legends Field finds it and has a good old party up there. And it's just everywhere. So we're trying to get through stuff like that, but this stuff as we go. Little information on some grants that we've either applied for or where we're at. We're currently, we just applied for a new grant for a new playground for Legends Fields. We just submitted our continuation formula grant with AmeriCorps. And then I have been talking to the grant writers, potentially looking at a CFA, potentially for some upgrades at either Camp City or at Legends. I have ideas for both, but looking at that. Last month in May, you can see a couple pictures. We did our Endangered Species Day. I think I drove Savannah crazy with her, getting her pictures and things like that to go along with it. But thank you. So we had about 100 volunteers that day that were there between, the Friends of Rosemont Gifford Sioux, City BOCES. They were just a couple of the groups who sent out volunteers to help us. They planted a new garden out there. City BOCES made us some new signage. So that's kind of a cool thing that we had there. As I've been talking with the chair, I'm in the final stages of getting numbers for potentially looking to replace the field lights at Legends. They gave me a set of numbers, and then they wanted them back because they thought they could do better, which is always a good thing to hear. And again, this came from an email I got from NISAC back in January as to working with this company. So we're working with there. In August, you'll see a little piece that we're doing a annual camp day at the Syracuse Mets game. We've been working with the county to be able to provide that with busing and things to that way, that we're looking good there. I'm in the final stages of the disc golf course tee boxes to be done. I had everything good, ready to go, and then you get a set of drawings sent to you from a local person who can make some really creative things. So I'm working with him at least to get more information to find out this is something we could do, because if it is, I really want to take a really hard look at it, because I think it's a interesting aspect he wants to add to it. You can see our AmeriCorps numbers are on there that you can look through. If you'd like to, on our Camp Serby water tank, B&G has done work on it. It appears everything, knock on wood, it was good. With that being said, I've been looking, like I said, whether it's CFA or whatever, keeping my eyes open to potentially look at that, something that is gonna have to be addressed in the future. That water tank is, I've been there as long as I have, and it is, something that is starting to be, with this lifetime for the most part. So we're working with that. The Governor's Youth Council, you can look from that piece in there. Maddie Schaefer from Phoenix, has represented Oswego County, for the last year. She is interested in coming back. So, if that's the case, she will represent Oswego County again. I advise 18 counties, with that. Somebody in the state thought that'd be funny to give me the biggest group. So I have Central, Southern here, North Country, and whoever else they add to it. So 62 counties, I get 18 of them. But it's good for the county because they give us a little bit of money for me to oversee that youth summit. Our youth summit, we held that earlier this month, June 4th at the fairgrounds. We have 7 districts there, 500 students, 35 vendors. Some of you may have been there. There's a list of all the different vendors who were there, including Micron. So that was an interesting aspect for our 8th grade students to learn about careers in Oswego County, and then the pathway to how to look at that, to how you get there. You can also see about our Girls Empowerment Retreat. I think some of in here, I think that we have a legislator, I think, who has couple legislators who are possibly women. You gonna do it too, the women's empowerment? So a couple legislators who
Still deciding.
still deciding. I was told I'm not allowed on site that day. It's okay, it's not my problems. But that'll be an interesting concept that we're looking to build upon with that Girls Empowerment Retreat. It's been received very well. So you can read a little bit about that if you would like to. Our Leadership Oswego County Youth Class, we had, last time I checked, we had 19 applications, and which is pretty good. 19 students would be a good number to look at. So we're going through the process with that. And then the schedule, if you know of anybody who may be interested in being a part of that group, we are still accepting applications. We also have our Youth Leadership and Action Group, YLA, that we partner with the Oswego County Prevention Coalition on. And that is also for high school age students, and they also meet monthly, and there's information on their schedule there. They'll talk about issues that impact Oswego County, as well as looking at different ways the Prevention Coalition can work with them. You'll also see about different programs that we have listed in there. The Student Athlete Leadership Team, SALT, is brand new. We're working on getting that kick off this fall, working with the athletes in Oswego County to work together and be better as we do that. When I say be better to each other, and teaching that respect that we have on the field and off the field. Our municipalities, you can see that this year, like I said, for some municipalities, it was very difficult for them to find staffing moving forward. So some programs are not opening their doors this summer, but most of them are looking to come back next year, or we're working with them for ways to help them. Sometimes I would have some come to me and ask me if I could help staff them. And as I told you about my one program, I said, if I have extra staff, I'll send them to you. Or if I have extra staff, it's probably a reason why they're extra, so I can send you those. But anyways, it's been a challenge in some cases for some of the municipalities to be able to staff. You'll see our Arts in the Park schedule on there. That starts as early as tomorrow at the Animal Library. You'll see there's an event there, and then it carries through between the fairgrounds and all the way through September at the Fulton Fall Festival. You'll see different things scheduled for that. Movies in the Park. I'm sure a lot of you have attended that. Oswego County Federal Credit Union partners with us and offer a couple movies. First one will be July 15th, How to Train Your Dragon, and then the second one will be Zootopia 2. The Hannibal Fun Event Committee, you can see on July 6th, they have an event happening. Kinder Kingdom will bring their owls, which will be interesting. I've never seen owls up close, so that'll be good. You'll see our Little Free Libraries. We'll continue to restock those for the summer. Always great opportunity for kids to keep reading, as well as Assemblyman Barkley always does a summer reading challenge. So we'd like to put that information out there as well, so that, kids continue to read in the summer. Our Splash into Reading, we continue to work with Splash. Have made a little bit of changes with that, but it's all there. Harborfest will be coming up. We do the Children's Park, Children's Parade. So my staff will be busy with that. And then when I think about Christmas time, they'll start thinking about tree lighting. And then the Read It Club, for probably every one of us that was in here, that's basically the Pizza Hut Book It Club that doesn't exist any longer, that we now call the Cute Girl Read It Club. So instead of Pizza Hut, we would go to Fox to get your free pizza if you achieve the results that you did with Pizza Hut now when you're younger. That's
You said it all in one breath, huh?
Try.
That's amazing. Brian, I want to thank you for giving us this, just like this here, because, as I always look around the room, people are tirelessly just trying to take down the information, because we always bring so much.
And if anybody doesn't have them, let me know, I can email it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got pen, because they want to waste all the ink that we have. Trying to get those that.
You don't want to waste ink. That'd be me.
A lot of wonderful, wonderful things. Anybody have any questions for Brian?
I do think somebody set my computer, because I literally have to click on this thing. It's like set, go automatically. It literally is. I mean,
I think they all are.
are they?
Yeah. I think they're all set to like.
Bill?
Yeah, just so the committee's aware, I'm sorry, I had to compose an email, so if you mentioned this, I'm sorry. I think it's Wednesday night at Camp House. There's a program going on for and legislators, if you're interested, you can go observe it. There is a group called Force Blue. They're a nonprofit group of former Special Forces divers. They do volunteer work with marine sanctuaries, and they are doing a program for middle school kids at Camp Hollis Wednesday evening. I think it's about an hour from 6 to 7.
Yeah, I'll confirm it exactly.
Yeah, I spoke with their person coordinating it. I said, hey, this county facility, is this closed? Or could members of our legislature who want to see what this group is about, see what they're doing with their kids, if you want to attend it, you can.
Is that every Wednesday or just?
No, just this Wednesday.
What time again?
I think it's 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock.
It conflicts with those county fair legislative.
Oh, okay, all right. I want to let you know this going on.
Any other questions, Brian? All right, let's move over to Sarah, Office for the Aging.
Okay, so we're all waiting for our farmer market coupons came in the mail on Friday, so we do have our schedule. We'll start with a big distribution on Wednesday, July 8th. And the reason it's not right now is because it does have to be publicized, because they are first come, first serve. And if we just start passing them out now, we would hear that I didn't know about it. So we have to publicize it, advertise it. So our first event will be July 8th, like I said, at Cuba Community College in their parking lot in Fulton. And that will be it'll be a drive-through. We'll also have 200 food boxes from the Food Bank of Central New York, fresh produce boxes, and we'll be doing basil plants for basil container garden, along with some recipes and instructions on care for the plants. The food boxes and the plants are being organized through our SNAP Ed program, Shine. That's why we're able to do it. We'll try next year to still get secure food boxes, but we won't be able to do the food or the plants that we had for the last few years because of the Shine SNAP Ed funding is ending September 30th. This is the last year of that program. Also, when I was at ACUU last week, the federal government is looking to cut the funding for the farmer market coupons by 50%. We only received 600 this year. So if you do know somebody who gets the farmer's market coupons, wants to get them, advise them to get to us sooner rather than later, because I anticipate all of the coupons being gone by Saturday when we're at the Fulton Farmers Market. Because we do the drive-through event. The next day, we'll be at our office out front all day distributing them. Thursday evening, we'll be at the Oswego Farmers Market. Friday, we're in Pulaski because they have a farmer's market in Pulaski on Fridays. And then Saturday, we'll be at the Fulton Farmers Market. And like I said, I have a feeling, a very strong feeling that they will be all distributed by Saturday. If not, there will be very few booklets left. People who can't attend, if they have power of attorney, their power of attorney can obtain the coupon booklets on their behalf. They can also fill out proxy paperwork if they want someone else to pick them up on their behalf. Those requests do go through our office though, because we have to keep track. We can't have 20 proxies out and then last year we had somebody obtain proxy paperwork and then the person came through the drive-through and said, I'm here for my coupons. They're like, but somebody just grabbed a proxy. So we do have all that go through our office to make sure we don't, there's no paperwork other than them signing that they are qualified, that they're age 60 or older and that they meet the income guidelines. They're certifying that themselves. We don't verify licenses, we don't verify their income, so it's all,
Honor system.
honor system. There you go. Yes, they have to, yes. And we've had people before come and say, well, no, I got home and I looked at my income and I don't qualify. And we have received coupons back, but yes, and especially this year because there's so few booklets, we'll be very, making sure that they're qualified. Is there any questions on the farmer market coupons?
Sure.
Yes.
So are you gonna divide them out so that you've got some for each of the events?
We will make sure that we have some for the last event in Fulton. Yes, we'll have some that are enough set aside for that, but there will be the big event on the Wednesday in Fulton. So that's why we say if you're able to get out sooner rather than later. But it is first come, first served, so we can't do any of that. So if somebody says, oh, I can't make it, and can you set aside a booklet? We cannot do that. It has to be first come, first served. Yes.
So the food boxes, they very sell to the food supply, that's where they sell a little bit of hamburger, in particular.
No, it is the fresh produce box.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there's in years past, there's been tomatoes, cabbage, some fruits and some vegetables.
Thank you.
Okay, we will be at the fair this week, the county fair on the 1st. We'll be in the senior building. We'll also have staff in the county building. So you'll see staff in both buildings and I'll be out there on Wednesday as well. We also are saving the date for our summer resource fair. We'll be in Constantia. Our New York Connects and OFA will be there on July 22nd. Our New York Connect staff do a really good job of trying to get into areas of the county where we feel maybe are underserved in resources or information. So Constantia is our next point where we'll be going out and having other service providers as well be there to provide information on services that are available in the county at the VFW Constantia. And let's see, we also are, I did go, this is my third and last print off our senior picnic. We have confirmed that it is August 19th. We have the flyer now. It will be at this way, sorry.
You're doing good.
Okay. So the senior picnic is August 19th it'll be at the Fulton Polish Home where we'll be able to accommodate more people and it's not at a picnic table. We have found that in years past, it's harder for older people to get up and sit down and get up from the picnic table. So it'll be tables and chairs, and like I stated, we'll be able to accommodate additional people. The Polish home can, be up to 250 people, been told. I don't see us having that many participants, but
What would be your average attendance at one of those picnics?
in years past, we cut it off at 100, and we've had up to 125 reserved, but 115 has been the highest number that people have attended. I have a feeling this year in Bolton, we may have a higher attendance because of the location, as well as, it's just, I think more people may attend. So we're not gonna be putting anyone on a wait list unless it gets really close to the maximum, but we won't wait list anybody. Let's see, our chat bench the last 2 chat benches I had updated you at the last meeting had been delivered. The one that was brought to our office, one of the cement arms cracked. So City BOCES came and picked that up last week, and we won't be getting that replacement back until the fall when the students come back, because they'll re-pour the concrete and bring that back. So if you do go up around our building, I'm really sad that it's ours, but I guess I'm happy it's ours too, and not another one that's out in the community. But it won't be until fall until we have the chat bench back.
I'm amazed it was cracked. So I just visited the one at Culver Street. We had family members who live in that area, and they, from out of town, they visited and showed that to them. And I was amazed that it was a cement structure. They're not gonna move that thing, but if somebody broke that.
I don't know what happened, but it was a crack, and there's rebar in there too. So it's not just cement. So I don't really know what happened. We just went out there. Actually, my husband, after he volunteers at the Oswego dining site, and he went out to show it to somebody, and there was a big crack up the side. I don't know if the bolt from the seat was too tight into the cement, but it did. There was a big crack, and it wasn't, it was a solid crack through. It wasn't just a little crack that could be, some filler put in. It was from side to side. So when I go out in the community, I am looking at all of them now to make sure there's no other issues with any of the other benches. If you happen to be at any of the sites and you do notice it, let me know as well, and we'll get that taken care of. But like I said, I'm glad it happened at ours. I'm not glad, but I am glad because it was noticed very quickly, and we made sure that no one was injured. Let's see. The Oswego Dining Center continues to thrive. In May, we had 22 unique individuals that accessed the dining center and provided 62 meals, but we created a lot of friendships as well, new friendships. I can't wait to see what the June data shows. Tomorrow's the last day of June, probably the middle of the month. I'll have that information on how many attended. But if you're there, it sounds like they're having a lot of fun. I poke my head in every now and again, and there's a lot of laughter and camaraderie and friendships being built down there. So we're very happy to see that. We received word from our legal provider, Thomas Reynolds Law Firm, that his practice is closing the end of the year. He has been a partner, I think. He's been our law provider since we started. So it's been many, many years. He has given us a tremendous rate. We pay him $74.25 per hour for services. We will have to go out, we will have to go out for RFP. I'm establishing the scope of work right now. I'm almost positive it will be much more than $74.25 per hour. So there's a couple of things we can do. We can shift some of our unmet needs money to that, but it'll be through the budget process, obviously, or we'd have to reduce the number of people that we could serve. We do have the unmet need money, so I'm thinking that I wouldn't want to suggest that we reduce the number of people that we serve, but it really will come down to when we get the RFPs back, what that cost is going to be. So that'll be going out soon as the scope of work has been established. And I had shared with you all that our GoGo grandparent All of our state funds have been expended or expended this month. We're trying to piggyback off of the state's contract to be able to continue to provide the service, but the GoGo grandparent and NYSOPA said, no, you have to have your own continuing contract. So we're working on that right now to be able to continue to provide the service because it has really been established as something that is needed in our community to get our non-Medicaid older people to their doctor's appointments in Syracuse. Or, I mean, that's where a majority of them are, but some have gone to Auburn. We had one person go to Rochester. So it is really a service that is needed. So we're working diligently on getting that back established. But you might hear a little bit of feedback in the process where they missed a doctor appointment because they had hoped to be able to take it, but we have not, we provided all the rides that we had scheduled and secured. It's just been rides that people wanted.
Sarah, you've been using mobile management to help service that?
I did reach out to Mobility Manager to see if we could tag onto one of their contracts they already established, but that does require a contract modification in order for us to do that, so we have not done that.
Wouldn't that be the way to go? Bill?
Right, we'd have to see the details, whether it improves the service or saves money, what we want to do that. If it does, there's no problem.
Right, when I spoke to Holly and she said that we could extend it for a short period of time, what we're doing currently with GoGo Grandparent, to be able to pay those bills, but we didn't have a contract, so that's where we kind of had a hiccup there. While we're looking to see what we want to do for the remainder of the year, we will get new funding again January 1 from the state office for the aging, because it is an ongoing program. What happened is, when they first started it, they had money that was earmarked for it that didn't get all used. So for the first 2 years, all the money didn't get, for the first year and a half, the money didn't get used. So they were able to build up how much they gave each county. And then once that money was all used, it went back to the initial level, which dropped us back substantially. We had gotten $50,000 last year. This year, we got $16,000. We're averaging about $5,000 a month. They let us carry over our remaining from 2025 into 2026, and then we got that $16,000. But we're averaging about $5,000 a month for the service. So, but we're working through it. It's just going to be a little bit of a delay, but we will get something in place so that we can get those rides back established. Whether it is tagging on to Mobility Manager, making an amendment to one of their contracts that they have with the taxi companies, or going back to GoGo Grandparent. I'll have more information soon. Yes.
I guess I'm a little confused about this because I thought the mobility management program allowed what's called access so that anyone could call and request an appointment.
And
So I don't understand why they have to be a contract for that.
right in the
Within the
county,
county,
right?
right.
This is specifically for out of county because
Oh, okay.
access is available in county. So we took our dollars for out of county transfer.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Thank you for clarifying that.
So, that's all I had. If there's any other questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Do we have any questions about that? Good, a lot of things, always a lot of things. Eric, who's their veterans?
Well, let's go back to the food coupons. We got our 2,500 coupons just over 2 weeks ago. And then last 2 weeks, we handed out over 80% of those. So we don't have a whole lot left. Same deal, first come, first serve. One of the things that we have done, because last year what we noticed was people were trying to be sneaking. It's one per household. So the husband would come Monday morning and the wife would come Monday afternoon. So we started tracking if a spouse or a family member comes, they have to give us the veteran's name. And we put it on a list and it's in Excel, have it set up to where if it's duplicated, it'll highlight. So we know that they've already received their coupons. There's so many people that want them, we can't allow people to get the ones they're not allowed to have. We haven't had an issue this year yet. We haven't had to refuse anybody. I was able to go out to Pulaski the third Thursday of this month to make sure that they had that opportunity, and it looks like there's gonna be just enough left where I'll be able to take some this Thursday. Because I gotta make sure that those individuals out there, and I'll talk about when I get to the Dwyer about the class guy at Sandy Creek area. We did hire a new VSO. She started last week. Her name is Billy Jo Thompson. She's a retiree. She started her training. It's gonna take a while, but the New York State training person and the VA training person have both been really helpful, helping us get that started. So hopefully it's not gonna take as long as it has in the past. Once she gets spun up, then we'll have her start doing claims. On the claims part, as I mentioned last meeting, the state VSO that was in the Oswego County, or the Oswego clinic here retired. So the clinic now is referring everybody that worked with him and everybody that comes in their office to us, which is great. The state VSO in Onondaga County was the only VSO that was assisting, and she is now out of work due to injury. So they're referring all their people to us. Cuyahoga County is referring their people to us. The VSO that was in the Syracuse VAMC, they're no longer there. They're referring their people to us. So our caseload is growing by the day. I mean, it's just phone call after phone call from Onondaga County, from Cuyahoga County. We got people from down Binghamton calling us because they were referred to us. No good deed goes unpunished. I love the fact that our office is viewed as that productive. You know, people call us because they were told that we answer the phone. They were told that we work with the veterans. But it's going to kill us if we don't. It's something that's where Billy Joe's going to have to step up. So our office is really busy. So the whole appointment only thing, that's going to have to stick for a while. We're not turning veterans away. If they come to the office and I'm in the middle of something where I can stop, then I'll help that veteran. We'll answer questions. We'll get them the documents they need, that sort of stuff. But any major claims are going to have to make an appointment because our calendars are just filled up. So Dwyer program. Does anybody have questions on that?
Yeah. These are temporary referrals to you. Do you have timelines as to when they're going to take them? I don't want to take advantage of by other counties.
Well, what ends up happening is in order to be somebody's VSO, you have to fill out what's called 2122 that appoints us as their VSO. When they come to us, especially if they're from Onondaga County or the further away they go, every area is zoned. We're American Legion, I think 307. We are dual accredited, so we are also state. So when Horton retired, we could see his clients. I could see them in the VA system, but I cannot file for them because they are, their VSO is New York State. We're, again, sponsored by the American Legion. So we have to do the 2122s. Can they go back to their, county when the VSO comes back in? Absolutely, they can. Generally, they won't do it. Most of the time, they won't do it because, and this is sad to say, their county won't answer. Onondaga County is by appointment only, and a lot of the state offices do it only virtual. You got a 75-year-old veteran, he's not going to be able to do a claim very well virtually. So because of the way we run our office, because of the way we treat our veterans, because of the way we do our claims as if they were our own, once somebody comes to our office, it's very, very difficult. What we are doing is when they call, if they're not from our county, we ask them to talk to their county VSO first, and we'll help them locate one. And then 3 days later, they're back on the phone.
If the caseload becomes unmanageable, do you have the authority, the regulations to prioritize Oswego County residents and require anyone who's not a resident to go through their own county?
Yes, absolutely. As a veteran service officer, we have the ability to refuse service. We can tell a veteran that we are not going to be here. So, and that's more because of the legal aspects of it. If we don't agree with the veteran, or don't agree with their claim, or if they're a very disgruntled individual that we can't get calmed down, we can refuse to be their VSO. So we can definitely do that if it gets to the point where things are starting to fall through the cracks and we're not winning claims because we're not spending enough time on them. We can tell them, hey, I can put you on a list, but Oswego County has priority. So we definitely have
Okay,
to.
so you can make the determination by residency, not just by
Yes.
bad.
As a VSO, you're not strictly stuck to where you're at. So Oswego County, I can do anywhere in the country. Matter of fact, I have a veteran in Africa that I'm working with. So we can do a VSO work for anybody if they're willing to do it virtually. But we will not allow our Oswego County veterans to be put on the back burner or to receive less service than what they deserve. So no, and the answer would be yes. We would definitely come up with a plan for that if it got to that point. I did go through all our claims the other day, and it is high, but it's not as high as I thought it was. So that was a relief, to be honest with you. But like I said, daily, we're getting these phone calls from other counties. Any other questions on that? Nope. So the Dwyer program has really kicked off. Ward's been doing really well. He was here last month. You got to meet him. He's had his coffee events and they've all been successful minus Pulaski. Pulaski, we had one guy show up for the coffee event. And that's why I was going to talk about Pulaski later is we are going to try to come up because of the rurality, how rural it is up there. Rural. I'm from Alabama. I can't say that one. And because there's a lot of older veterans in that area, we have to come up with a better way to reach these veterans. They're not getting the information that he's putting out through news releases and flyers. So we're going to work on that, which is why I like taking the coupons up there because a lot of those veterans, they won't call. But if I'm sitting in Pulaski and they know I'm there, they'll just show up. Which is great. Not very busy in Pulaski. I do have some time to work on some other stuff. So when they come in, helps my day go faster. He had the largest event he's tabled yet was the Hannibal Vet Fest at the VFW, and that thing's huge. He got to talk to a lot of people. One of the things that kind of popped up with talking to a veteran that he's going to make sure that people understand is the veteran didn't want to be part of the Dwyer program because he thought you had to be a member. He said, well, I'm a member of so many things, I'm not going to be a member of anything else. And Ward had to explain to him, no, it's free. You're not a member. We have an event, you come, and that's it. That veteran actually ended up calling him a couple of days later and signed up for the bowling event that he had on Saturday, which we ended up with 27 total veterans and family members that came to the bowling alley and bowled for a few hours and had pizza and soda. So that event was huge. Everybody know his wife, Deanna? I'm going to give a shout out to Deanna because she has volunteered and done a lot of work with Ward on this program. She helped him with the flyers. She helps him with the Facebook page. She comes up with ideas, and she's at every event. She's at every event with him. So shout out to her. We still have some events coming up. The fishing events have not been solidified yet. We're still working with the captains of the boats and everything to try to figure out how that's going to work. Yeah, that's the Dwyer program it's doing great. It's doing what I hoped it would do. So, any questions on that?
Did you get the disc golfing set up or do I need to follow up?
No, not yet. We talked about it.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, just let me know.
well, I think the reason he went bowling is because Ward bowls. He likes to bowl.
Okay, no, that's fine. I just want to make sure you guys look in there that.
Yeah, well, definitely. I'll reach out to you as soon as we make a decision, and in the beginning of this, we're just trying to feel out
Yep.
what the participation is gonna be. And the fact that we had 25 people show up on Saturday means the golfing event, the frisbee golf, something like that is probably gonna be just as successful. So, we'll start working more towards those.
In years ago, when I say years ago, and pretty remembers, it could have been 5, 10 years ago, they did a luncheon in Camp Hollis to the veterans, and I think that went over well, so if you want to do something like that, we can go too.
And I was just thinking about that before the meeting, having a luncheon, some sort of picnic type thing. A lot of the stuff we're just trying to learn how to do it. We're trying to learn how to purchase things, how to set things up, what we're allowed to do, what we're not allowed to do.
I got some lawn maintenance you can do,
So, it's gonna be great. Any other questions?
Anybody have any questions for Eric? Wonderful job of having veterans come together in different events, coming alongside each other. It's all about supporting each other.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Okay, DSS, Lee.
Okay. Part 1, part 2. So, we,
Intermission.
there may be a fun little intermission for you. Okay. So, we are preparing for fiscal year 2027. Phil had, the department had submit a 2027 impact assessment, which was due June 19th, so that was submitted. I just want there to be some transparency that we are analyzing what's happening at the federal level and how that's going to impact us, and we're looking at that. We're trying to adjust what we're doing internally with regards to the staffing, training, leadership development, workforce and capacity and organizational readiness. We have been making some staffing changes as part of a broader strategy to strengthen supervisory capacity, improve accountability, preserve institutional knowledge. We've had a lot of people retire around our leadership team. We have a lot of new people in place, so that takes a lot of attention to train those new people. So preserving institutional knowledge is really important for us because we're losing a lot of it, and position ourselves to meet future demands. So we are always evaluating opportunities to bring selected services in-house. When doing so improves oversight, workforce stability, and continuity of services and long-term operational effectiveness. DSS recently launched an executive leadership development program for directors and senior leadership in partnership with Janine Capozzi of Knowledge Force Consulting. And this initiative is to focus on leadership effectiveness, really developing and building the capacity of the leadership team to prepare ourselves for what's coming. I don't know if you've all heard of the term think outside the box. Mike, can you raise your hand? You've heard that term, think outside the box?
Yes, I have.
Has anybody else heard the term think outside the box?
I had an interesting meeting with,
Over there.
their,
Has anybody ever asked you to think outside the box while you're sitting on the beach? No? No? Okay, well, so part of our leadership development is thinking outside the box and what the box is. I forgot my box. So we actually all have boxes that we're wearing on our heads. We got to draw a face on it. There was an inside panel and an external. Yes, you have a box. He has a box. I really wanted to bring it to show you, but it really it gets you to think about, you have to start with what's inside the box, right? So it's not just a matter of thinking outside the box, it's a matter of starting what's already in the box. So I think it's gonna be a really fun way of building our capacity and looking at each other across the table, understanding our different leadership styles, how we communicate. What happens when you box Lee in a corner? Right? You box me in a corner. What is my presentation like? Am I talking over people? Am I shutting down the conversation? Like, don't want to have that conversation. So I think it's really important for us to learn each other as leaders, for us to be as effective as we can. So I'm really excited about this training for the team. One of the things she had us do was, as an exercise, draw 9 little circles like this on a piece of paper. And if you all want to go ahead and draw 9 little circles like this on a piece of paper, just want to do a little demo here. And you need to draw 4 lines and connect all the dots without lifting your pen. Anybody want to try it? I see you're doing it, Rich. You gonna do it for us?
Know the answer.
So little circles.
Oh, you've heard this before? Yeah. So this was one of the things she had us do, and maybe some of you have seen or heard this before, right? And so none of us around the table figured it out. At our team, we didn't figure it out. But what it is you have to go outside the box to figure the solution. So we were all trying to figure it out inside the box, right? So it was a great demonstration about coloring outside the lines, right? Mike did get to see the box.
Yes. When I walked into our regular meeting on Wednesdays, I was thankful I just got out of cardiac rehab. Because it prepared me for what I walked into with these two.
We had our boxes on our heads.
Yes, I said, oh boy, so this is how it's gonna be. It's like a 6-month training though.
Yes, it is a
For 6
6-month long training. It's gonna involve one-on-one coaching. And so I think that, it's happening at a good time. As the structure is changing, as leadership has turned over, it's a really great opportunity for us to really commit to strengthening the team so that we can be prepared for what's headed our way. Because we have some stuff coming our way here. So we are also looking at redesigning orientation, onboarding, training, supervisory practices to improve consistency, strengthen employee development, support workforce retention, ensure staff are prepared to meet increasingly complex program requirements. So with some of the federal changes, we have an increase in administrative responsibilities, but the resources and the funding isn't going to follow that. So we have to kind of prepare ourselves for how we are going to look at workflow, and how we're going to manage that. So we have expanded our training, workplace violence prevention and trust training initiatives, and continue to invest in leadership development. So trust training is a training that is designed to help frontline staff deal with crisis situations. Even in the front lobby, people come in and we have incident reports of, bad behavior in the lobby. Somebody could shout at you as an employee, and ensuring that you have the skills to be able to confront those kinds of issues when they happen. So this trust training is going to do that. We sent 5 staff to be certified for that, and that training is going to be rolling out soon. The finance department, we did restructure. So there was a question at the previous legislative meeting about the fiscal department and the change in us deleting the senior accountant position. And so we're restructuring it to establish clearer lines of authority. When I came in, I felt there was an inverted pyramid, meaning there were activities at the lower level that should have been happening at the higher level. And I needed to kind of flip that around. And so what we did was we dedicated supervisory oversight for accounts payable and accounts receivable functions. The revised structure mirrors practices utilized in comparable counties, strengthens segregation of duties, improves internal controls, and provides clear accountability throughout the financial management process. Coming in new, trying to figure out, and Veronica knows, because I'm on the phone with Veronica. You know, to keep the clear lines and the boundaries, coming in real, you know, the right hand kind of didn't know what the left hand was doing. And so we really needed to focus on cleaning that up, and that way we could do a better job with, budgeting, planning, future planning. Michelle Connolly, the fiscal director, and I, and Veronica attended the NISAC financial and budget training. And we learned about best practices. So we're hoping that's going to help us with our forecasting and long-range fiscal planning. But the Vineski group was there, and you could probably talk more about this, Veronica, because you were actually in that group that was so fabulous that I missed. But they talked about AI, and they talked about, you know, how we can use this in government budgeting systems. And as you all know, we have kind of taken the lead on those types of AI models, Microsoft Copilot, ChatGPT, EVA, Synthesia, and we're seeing the operational efficiency that it's creating for us. And when we talk about those administrative duties that are gonna, you know, down the pike here with ABOD, SNAP, right? Those kinds of operational efficiencies that she's going to create means staff are going to be able to spend more time doing the real work that needs to be done. And so we're really excited. I know Veronica was excited. She had a little list, a to-do list after she left the meeting to say, I want you to do this. I want you to do this. Do you want to talk a little bit about it?
Not really prepared if I remember planning on.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, no, I came back and talked to Phil about it.
Yeah. So it was really exciting to see the potential and the opportunities that AI in budgeting, being able to crosswalk, you know, one fiscal year to another fiscal year and be able to see the insights. So we kind of left really motivated about that. And I do think that the tools are going to help us improve efficiency. And allow staff more time on analysis and planning, which is what we need to be doing. I feel like I walked into a situation that was very reactionary, right? And if something happened to us, then we responded. We weren't spending a lot of time planning. So I think that's the difference that we're trying to create here. SNAP eligibility changes. This is a big conversation right now. Even in the commissioners group, there are some counties who are, you know, the state is trying to encourage us to look at opportunities and what we could be doing to get people off wait lists, open it up again. And so the expiration of the previous waiver flexibilities, we have experienced a significant number of applications that did not meet the eligibility criteria. So as an able-bodied adult without children, there are dependents. You have to meet work requirements in order to do that. So we're trying very hard to educate the public on what those requirements are, ensuring that they understand how it works. And we do have information on our website. Policy development, compliance, and risk management. The department continues reviewing and updating policies, procedures. I've totally inundated Julie with some new policies. We are looking at updating policies. They haven't been updated in a really long time. Training practices. Again, it is about strengthening compliance, operational consistency, workforce preparedness. So we are focused on risk management, program integrity, audit readiness. We are implementing a structured risk assessment process. So Tiffany is in the process of, for each program, identifying several items where we can quickly review, answer the questions, and identify if that's a program we need to look at because it's at risk. Maybe it's at risk because a department division director resigned, and that's a risk factor. So we're looking at trying to create a model that will help us predict better what's happening, support our decision, and improve our readiness. So DSS leadership and compliance staff recently met with representatives from OCFS, including Jessica Carey and Jennifer Clark, to review our program improvement plan requirements, performance benchmarks, and compliance monitoring standards. OCFS reaffirmed the performance standards necessary to successfully remove identified items from the PIP, so that's the goal. We have 3 items on our PIP and we want to remove them and close it out so that we don't have a PIP. We did create formalize some tools. Tiffany sent them to the state. They reviewed them. Had I think 1 item that they recommended, but everything else they thought were great. They're really excited to see how these tools work for us. And hoping that helps us with how we come out of audits as we move forward. Community and system pressures. So DSS continues addressing increasing system pressures related to homelessness, emergency housing placements, behavioral health needs, fraud prevention, and broader community service capacity limitations. The department remains focused on balancing service delivery needs with responsible stewardship of taxpayer resources while working collaboratively with community partners to address complex social service challenges, which are just growing. They're growing. Facilities and infrastructure. We have had some HVAC system issues where half the building did not have AC, the other half did, the other half was over functioning to cool the other half. So it's been off and on. Today it was quite cool in there. At Mike's last visit, I had to give him my blanket because it was quite
It was
cool.
cold. 67 degrees at the event out there.
Yeah, it was quite cool. Yeah, but things are operating efficiently now. So there were some issues with the rooftop. But again, that's all secure now. What we did identify during this, so in this room too, there are certain vents that are allocated to cool. And what we learned on the half that didn't have AC was that the lights are the cooling vent. And we had several employees who have light sensitivity, and we bought these little covers that have magnets on it to cover it so it dims the light a little bit. And so unbeknownst to us, it was creating an issue because the air couldn't flow through. So we had to take those down. So there might be some conversation surrounding the lights now, but so that was kind of impeding the progress of cooling the building down as quickly as we wanted. But things are all set now, knock on wood. But the incident reinforced the importance of proactive facility planning, business continuity measures, and long-term infrastructure. Tiffany did take the time to create a physical plant audit tool. And her team are going to go around and they're going to do physical plant audits, internal and external of the facility. And we're going to do that quarterly. We'll provide that information to maintenance. But I'm also looking at some of the things that, we have needs for rooftop units, windows, energy efficiency improvements, other infrastructure needs. And so I learned that through New York State Energy Research and Development Authority and the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation, the Office of Community Renewal and Community Development Block Grant, that there are programs that I want to look into to see if we're eligible for some of those energy efficient grants so that we can try to see if we can't get some funding to help with some of the maintenance that needs to happen out at that building. And so again, just trying to be a proactive planner, reduce future operational risk, and preserve the county asset because we own that building. And so looking at what available funding sources are out there. I'm gonna hand it over to Sarah. She's gonna talk a little bit more about, operations and the specific programs.
I'm starting with protective services, and the biggest news to report out is a change in reporting. So when you make a call to the State Central Registry, you used to be able to make a report as an anonymous source, which means you can call in, report your concerns, and they would take the report without taking your information. So you didn't have to give your name or any contact information. But that has now changed. They're requiring that anybody who makes a report has to give their name and phone number. There is an exception if they believe the reporter is a child. They're allowing children to make anonymous reports apparently, but not adults. So this is a huge change in reporting. We've had anonymous reports for years. I don't have a percentage, but we do get a significant number of anonymous reports daily. So I'm not sure what the impact would be, but time will tell. As Lee mentioned,
Can I ask you a quick question about that? I know it's anonymous, they can't do it anonymously when you take the information down, but does the person that they're reporting now, do they have to know still who that person is? Or can that still be held?
it's still confidential.
Okay, then.
Is that a state mandate or federal mandate?
It is state, I believe. I think most states do not allow anonymous reporting. We were kind of last to get on that, on doing that, but we've had some pretty bad cases come in anonymously, so let's see how this impacts things. People can still make reports, they just have to get better. Let's see. Okay, so as Lee had mentioned, we're working on mostly Michelle, but working on the 2027 budget, and in protective service specifically, we're looking at strengthening supervisory and management roles to ensure adequate oversight of cases. That's top priority in protective services when it comes to the budget. And we also are focusing on staff training so that we can have consistency with our practice and effective casework. Adult Protective Services continues to serve more than 400 rep payee clients. We are seeing a slight increase in guardianship cases, which we attribute to an increase in our county's aging population. For family services, we continue to make efforts to recruit and train the foster parents. I believe at the last event they had 6 people interested, which is a great number. So hopefully we can get those people to attend our trainings and then become foster parents.
I've seen your signs out too. I've seen your signs out, the little sidewalk signs, which I think helped a lot.
Great, thank you for that. So we have them available.
I mean, advertisement's gonna help with that.
Yeah, we, even though we are increasing our number of foster homes, we have over 100, it's still not enough for our needs. So we continue to have children staying in hospital emergency rooms for longer than they should be there. They've been discharged, but there's no place for them to go. So we have had children who remain on social admissions, which is the cost goes to the county. And we have also had to have children staffed at the department. So that means we have to put them in a conference room. And we have to staff them being in that conference room.
So I was gonna ask that question that I see here that in recent instance, child have had to sleep in conference rooms supervised by the staff due to lack of availability of foster care parents. I'm just wondering how public service, public safety how many inmates have been sleeping in conference rooms. I'm just comparing the two. And I think we're backwards. Because children shouldn't be sleeping in a conference room. Inmates, I don't know what to do with them, but. And how many children are going to bed at night hungry? How many inmates go to bed hungry? Just putting it out there. Thank you.
The commissioner talked about ABOD. We do have information, she said that there's information on the county website. I encourage everyone to take a look. It has some great links for additional information about it, and it is a huge issue at the moment. I don't know how long-term this will be, and people will start taking advantage of what we're offering, but until then, the information is available. We, myself and Gidget Stevens, the Director of Integrative Services, went to the Homeless Housing Coalition Town Hall regarding HUD funds, and we broke out into groups. We did a lot of discussions about what our homeless system looks like, what our opportunities are, and a lot of that focused around where the funding is headed. So it's going to be focused more on transitional services and case management. So we looked at where we could focus those funds, look at what our areas of need are. One area we were looking at is the amount of people who have been, single individuals have been affected by bail reform. And that growing number of population, people who are not in jail but are now homeless. So we look forward to working with that group, continuing to work with that group. There's a lot of stakeholders that attend, and I think there's a lot of good information shared by people who are really involved in doing their work. Our Medicaid chronic care applications, we continue to work on enhancing our training around those. They're very complex, and also our workflow realignment so that we can process them as quickly as possible. We have funds available for childcare, and we will be determining this week when we will be releasing those funds and what that's going to look like in terms of people who are currently on a wait list, people who have had to have a pause in their funding. So we will be issuing information about that later this week, I would say. And yeah.
Just got a quick question for you. Can you explain the correlation between bail reform and homelessness?
So what we were talking about how the increase in single individuals has increased, and we wanted to know if it was correlated with bail reform. So people that are not necessarily having to go to jail if they are now homeless. So we've tracked all of those individuals. We just want to see if there's a correlation. There might not be.
Right. So I'm trying to put it together in my head. I can't seem to.
Yeah, we're just trying to look at the total picture and figure out what populations could benefit from services, the case management services and transitional living services.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I've got maybe an unrelated question, but if someone is getting an eviction notice, for example, are you able to help them find housing? What I've heard is once someone gets an eviction notice and they're out and they're thrown out, now it's really difficult to place them. Is there some way, some stopgap that can be used to halt the eviction? Or to find another place before the person is actually evicted?
So our expert on that is Gidget. She has not here. I can follow up with you on that.
Well, I do know that that in order to qualify for the benefit, you have to provide the eviction notice. So that does have to happen before we're able to implement anything.
But then it's like generally 30 days?
Most eviction notices are 30 days.
Right, so
Yeah.
it's a really small time.
Yes, yeah, but until they can produce the letter that establishes that they actually have an eviction notice, we're not able to do anything until that happens.
And then the other issue we run into is affordable housing. So even with the HUD funds being focused on transitional housing and case management, the biggest barrier we have is affordable housing. So getting someone into transitional, let alone a permanent residence.
Yeah.
It's truly a change.
And so what we're seeing is that with those singles, people are staying longer in shelters because there isn't transitional. So it's acting as a transitional placement until something else can be found. Unfortunately, the same thing with kids that can't be placed at the QRPT level, where, you know, we have kids that because of behavioral issues, they're at a qualified residential treatment center and they behave badly there and they get kicked out and sent back to us. And that, you know, so yeah, it is a vicious cycle, but I think it just lends to it being a systems issue. There has been more collaborative conversation, talking with OPWDD with a recent case that we had. One of the VPs there that I used to work with in my past reached out to me about this particular case, really wanting to coordinate cross-training for our department so that we can better understand OPWDD and these, because it's typically those folks that fall under that umbrella or the mental health umbrella. So I just think that it's gonna take, you know, unfortunately, for us to hit these hard times for everybody to play nice in the sandbox, right? So years and years ago, when I worked with OPWDD, you could only provide services to people in your county. And then suddenly when services started drying up and you didn't have a choice but to cross county lines, right? And so I think that's where we're at now. And that's how I see some of this federal impact affecting us, is that it's gonna force us all to be collaborators to get the job done.
So it sounds like you have a little bit of, or the beginning stages of a plan for the federal cuts that are coming down.
Oh, yeah.
I hear that.
Yeah.
So I think the cuts are only gonna get deeper and deeper
Yeah.
and deeper.
Yeah. Yeah, the workforce needs to be prepared for it.
Right.
Yeah.
The last update I have is that we hired a new attorney, but we had an attorney resign. So we'll be into the same situation we were in before.
On page 2 of this handout, I just had a question about the numbers here, the Child Protective Services stat. It looks like there's still a lot of overdue work. I'm wondering, does that have to do with the vacancies there? 7
Is
vacancies?
this for integrated services, the red one?
Nope, this is for Child Protective.
Vacancies contribute, as well as new staff who aren't trained.
Okay, so what are we doing about the vacancies? Are we doing anything other than?
The caseworker positions are still covered by health,
Yeah.
which is very helpful, because then we don't have to wait for a test to be offered and scoring to happen. So we can take everybody who applies and qualifies. And that is what we're doing. We're moving people in as soon as we can. We're trying to, the commissioner talked about this before, about our training and how typically we say that it takes 5 years to truly fully train a caseworker. And we're saying we don't have that time. We don't have that luxury.
You're not here for 5 years anymore.
Right.
Have you thought about reaching out to the retirees or anything to see if anybody will come back part-time or something instead of offering just a straight full-time?
We have done that before. We have done that before.
Just an idea.
We have done a lot internally with enhancing the way that we handle cases so that we are working them as efficiently and safely as we can. So I think with that combined with hopefully stabilizing our workforce, we will see an improvement. And our numbers are highly improved over what they were This
Get to
last
the
year.
game, Sarah, get to the
Get
game.
to the game,
Get to the
right,
game.
so,
Game is what, when I started, there was over 600 overdue cases, right?
yeah.
So you're on a good trend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah,
Thank you.
So you're adding management and strengthening management positions. So are we doing anything to strengthen the regular workforce positions to try to get more people to commit to go to work at DSS and job training centers? Like, are we advertising for these positions? Are
yeah,
they-
it's always on
Where are they?
our website.
Okay, are they on Indeed or any of the other commercial?
I'd have to ask Julie, I'm not sure what HR.
Because I did a little
wants.
surfing and I wasn't able to find any Oswego County positions at DSS. on
Yeah,
any of the
I-
job finding
Listen, I don't disagree with you. I know I've created a couple of, posts myself for my own Facebook page. I shared with Sarah and asked her team, could you just ask the staff to share it on their Facebook pages, to try to drum up some interest, as well, so, yeah, I think there's probably some more work that we could do trying to figure out what is a different strategy than what we've always done. We do have 7 I don't know how many more total vacancies are there though, because
There's more in family services.
there's more in family services, so, there's 7 in CPS, but I think there was 10 or 11 in yeah. So, yeah, so that's the field staff right there. That's the vacancy of the field staff. But in order, if we grow the base of the field staff, we need to grow the supervisors too. So what we're finding is that we have this bottleneck, which is why we had all of those overdue cases, is because we were expecting a team of a handful of people to close 600 cases, and that it's not gonna happen with a couple of people. So we're really looking at getting rid of that bottleneck, right? This closing case team is a temporary fix. It's a Band-Aid to try to hurry up and get some things done, but the work has to shift back.
Right.
And we need to get seniors and Bs to be looking at closing those cases and getting that work done there.
Sure.
For a secondary review, because these cases are big, right? This isn't like, oh, I have a little file like this and I read through it. These cases are huge. And they take a long time. How many hours would you say that it would take to review a case?
Depends on if it's a complex case, it can take 2 to 3 hours. If there's a lot of external documentation, a lot of progress notes, we want to make sure everything is done correctly, we're not missing anything, it can take a couple hours for one case.
So,
I mean, if you're gonna build the top, you gotta build the bottom first, right?
yeah,
You gotta build
Well-
your way up, so.
well,
I don't know if I agree with that.
yeah, only because like what we're finding is that if we grow the base before we have the supervisory, because, so let me put it in numbers wise in perspective. One grade B has 5 seniors under them. Each senior has 5 staff under them.
Okay.
And each one of those staff have 15 to 20 cases on their caseload. So those boots on the ground people are carrying all these cases and it funnels up those 5, so 10, 15, 20, you're talking 100 and something cases that go through one person, right? That goes through a senior to a B. So the reality is we need more people at this line to be able to get those cases closed. We do need the people at the bottom, but we don't necessarily need more of those. We need more people to do the secondary review process to get those cases closed and off our books.
So you need to beef up middle management, so.
Yes, we do. Yes.
If I know whatever, but.
Yes, no, but we do
Sure.
in this case
Sure.
because of how complex the cases are and the process is. We actually need to, and honestly, I think that I had like a Lee moment where I was like, I just was like mind blown, like what are we doing here? But yeah, that's exactly right. We need to beef up the management piece of it.
And that's been happening the last 2, 3, 4 months with different people taking different positions.
We did add a grade B,
Right.
so we did add another grade B. Did we add another senior position too?
That'll be next month.
Next month, we're adding another senior position, so we're trying, and we need to stabilize this to brace for what's coming, right? So we know things are gonna get harder for the community and the families out there. And so this is where, you know, I know it may not make sense to people what I'm trying to do behind the scenes, but that's what I'm trying to do is brace for the impact to ensure that we're ready. And we just need more people. So the idea of bringing back some of the contracts, some of that is that we can use those resources to build that team, right? If we're gonna bring in other services back into the fold, we can hire more management staff and be able to provide those services internally. So that's part of the game plan. Yeah. But it's a long game. It's not a short game.
What would be great though is if we didn't have so much dysfunctionality to begin with, so we didn't have these kind of caseloads.
Yeah, well,
We all agree on.
well, yeah, we do, and I think I kind of highlighted about those FIPSA funds the last time we talked about trying to create, you know, really, again, this idea of thinking outside the box, right? Just because ESS has always ran programs a certain way, or we contracted out with a provider to provide the services, doesn't mean we can't think about services in a different way. And so we have, as a team, started to talk about evidence-based practices, because that's where we can draw down FIPSA funds in addition to the federal and state funding that we already get. And so if we could provide a base, you know, part of me is thinking that elections building down there, they have room down there for us to create an environment for families where if they come in, it's not just one model that they have to, they'll have a choice of different models that they can choose what fits for them and their family to be able to get the help and the resources that they need, right? So we have to meet people where they're at. Most of the people that we're encountering are not really voluntary. These are not people who are bending down our doors to say, help us, help, right? So I think the approach has to be a little bit different. But if we create an evidence-based model that somebody walks through the door, no matter what they pick, we're going to be able to draw down funding on. And it's evidence-based, which means better outcomes for the people that come through those services. And so that's kind of the model that the team has been talking about in putting our presentation for bringing back some contracts, looking at that site. If not that site, maybe a different site, to kind of have the visitation center have some of these services so that it's all right. It's a one-stop shop, right? For families to be able to get access to the resources. Which means training for staff too, because they would have to get certified in some of the evidence-based practices. So we need a little bit of the time to get the team certified to be able to bring those in-house for us to provide it. So it takes some planning, takes some time to do that.
Sarah, do you have any more?
Yeah.
Have any more? That element of meeting at the VO for election, that group has not come together yet. But one thing I would emphasize to everybody is, talking with Lee and Sarah, that I always want to be transparent, and if you have anything you want to discuss with them at any time, at any greater length, give them a call out there and they'll set up a meeting. We had one with legislator Arduini short time ago. It was very beneficial, wasn't it?
It was very
It was a
good.
great meeting. So
Really good.
give her a call. She'll set up with Felicia Melendez or an assistant, and they'll get that appointment set up and you'll be able to talk it straight. I think that's about it. I'm looking for the appropriate motion.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Thank you, everyone.
Keep in mind, if I get failed to move with or different.
Seven.
You look at. Everybody.